Hey everyone, Evan Kirstel. Today I have my favorite personality. Can I call you that? Personality in the storage space, Eric Herzog, of course, Chief Marketing Officer at Infinidat, setting the standard in enterprise storage. Eric, how are you?
Evan, great to be here. As always, love doing videos with you. We've done many over the years. Really enjoy these.
And I really love it because let's face it, a lot of your competitors, when it comes to storage discussions and marketing, they can be pretty dry. But if there's one word I would characterize you, it's definitely not dry. I mean, you're one of the most recognizable and prominent folks in the storage industry. And by the way, I found this online and doing some background work. Are you an adrenaline junkie? Is that an accurate characterization?
Well, put it this way. My wife told me that I couldn't retire till I was 85 or 90 because I can't just sit around. I need to be constantly in movement and action. And no, I don't have ADD as a kid. It's just, I just love the action. Just love the action.
Well, today there's a lot of action, a lot of news and updates, which we're going to dive into. But maybe before that, we'll play a quick video for the viewers who may not have heard of Infinidat and understand the value proposition. So let's watch. Wow, that is a pretty compelling narrative. Now it's just a mic drop. I mean, do I need to say any more? Where do you go from here? I mean, onwards and upwards, but is there more to do?
Well, we had a big launch today, May 24th. We expanded our Infuse OS operating system. Of course, that runs all of our solutions, the Infinibox SSA All Flash, and our InfiniGuard solution. And we now have announced a full cloud instantiation. So we'll sit in AWS, and guess what? The on-prem storage will think it's talking to an InfiniBox, which it really is, the operating system part of it, out in the cloud. So seamless hybrid cloud storage integration. And then the second part of the launch today, our InfiniSafe technology, which has won multiple awards and had lots of accolades, cyber resilience. So cyber storage resilience, helping end users thwart, avoid, or if they do have malware or ransomware attack, recover from that. We expanded that with our new technology called InfiniSafe Cyber Detection. So that's what we did today. Lots of software today from InfiniSafe.
Wow, the cyber detection story is pretty compelling. We just had the RSA conference in your neck of the woods in San Francisco, and it was a pretty terrifying week. to look at what's happening. What is your answer to the cybersecurity challenge when it comes to Infinidat?
Sure. Well, I think one of the key things I've noticed is when you're talking to a CIO or a CISO and they talk about security, they talk about endpoint, they talk about network, servers, applications, management of all of the various devices and software around, the exfiltration, possibly, of course, stealing things. But I almost never hear them talk about storage. And I would argue that what you need for a comprehensive cybersecurity strategy for your entire corporation is if you don't do storage, you're leaving the window open. You've locked the doors, you put an alarm in, but that window is wide open. There isn't even a screen. It's open saying, come steal my things. And the reason is, remember, when you think in enterprise, and again, as you saw from one of the snippets, 25% of the Fortune 50 buy from us. We're, a small company. We're not a startup, we're mid-sized, but we certainly aren't, 80 billion or 60 billion, yet they trust their most valuable asset other than their employees. That most valuable asset is their data. So if the CISO and the CIO don't realize that all their data ends up on enterprise storage, then they're leaving that big giant window open for the criminals just to walk right in. So that's part of what this launch is about. Our InfiniSafe, we introduced it in the beginning of 2022. It runs on all of our portfolio, our InfiniBox, our InfiniBox SSA all flash, and our InfiniGuard purpose-built backup appliance. It's part of our Infuse operating system, so it's a software thing. You don't have to buy any additional infrastructure or hardware to go with it. And its focus is to help and manage the storage aspect of that comprehensive cybersecurity strategy for a corporation.
Oh, that's so compelling. So let's talk about the storage technology landscape. You got a lot of competition, it's a very diverse marketplace. Um, what is your sweet spot? I mean, there's performance, there's scalability, there's reliability, there's the performance guarantees you make. I mean, how do you look at the competitive world these days?
Yeah, so we look at it as our sweet spot is really a main course of high-end block storage technology with a side dish of file. So we do block and we do file. We offer comprehensive enterprise class data services. Last year, for example, we won like 22 awards between analysts such as yourself, as well as the press. And in fact, we announced the first week of May that we got the prestigious Customer's Choice Award from Gartner. Now, why is that different? We win awards all the time, Storage Magazine, Tech Target, right? CRN, wonderful. But that's the press. The good thing about the Gartner thing, it's not even an analyst such as yourself, and you're one of the most prominent IT analysts in the world, but it's not the analysts either. It is end users write reviews. You have to have a certain number to qualify. So we ended up with our InfiniBox SSA All Flash 5 stars out of 5 stars. And our InfiniBox, the original product of the company, which is a hybrid array, fueled by, of course, our Infuse OS, at 4.9 out of 5. So we ended up at one of the customer's choice. And again, it's the customers. So you and I can't write reviews. Our resellers can't write reviews. It's only end users. And of course, they vet them to make sure that it's a valid end user. So our end users are talking about what we can deliver from an availability perspective, reliability, performance. I think one of the key things, 2 things they noted. First of all, was a support and service orientation. We provide technical advisors, and they're not technical support. So we have a full level 3 technical support that you get for free. But technical advisors, which some of our competitors also have, and they charge for them, by the way, we don't. The technical advisor's job is for them to optimize applications and workloads around their storage infrastructure. That's their job. That's what they do. They don't do tech support. We got a team that does that. And so that support and service angle, what we call our white glove support and service, has received accolades, in this case, not only in these peer insights, which are the end users, which helped us get that Customer's Choice Award, but several of the storage analysts have pointed out when they've talked to end users about Infinidat, and like I said, we're a mid-sized company. We're not a giant global Fortune 500 ourselves, but what they point out is that we always take care of the customers, that white glove service. And by the way, we do integrate all kinds of automation. In fact, several of the Gartner peer insights, as well as our own public references, talk about having an InfiniBox or InfiniBox SSA of one of our solutions and not touching it for 3 to 4 years. It runs all day long, every day, hasn't gone down once, not a single down. They don't have to do anything because we make sure that we do things like autonomous automation. Okay. So if you have 5 servers connected to us and you add another 5, we automatically learn about the applications and workloads on the 5 new servers. And we automatically, the storage admin does nothing. We don't launch a GUI. It just automatically learns about those workloads and adjusts our award-winning and patented neural cache technology, which is all software, to optimize the data placement on the array, to optimize how the array is itself configured, to optimize for those applications. But the key thing, it's all done automatically and autonomously without human intervention, which, as you know, in today's era of an economic downturn, the more you can save money on operations, in this case, the OpEx of an enterprise infrastructure, that is real money to them, real money. And in fact, we had a survey done, IDC did a mathematical with a bunch of interviews of end users, and they showed that our return on investment is 11-month payback, which in a down economy is tough. And for example, 167,000 average annual savings per petabyte. So if you've got 10 petabytes, you're saving 1.1 million, right? And that's just for 1 year. So you got it for 5 years. Now you've saved, 5 or 6. So it's very much, we not only deliver the strong technical value like our neural cache and our InfuseOS and what we're doing now with the InfuseOS Cloud Edition, all that's technical value, but that translates into real financial advantages, whether it be CapEx oriented or OpEx oriented. So that's one of the key things that was pointed out with the peer insights and the write-ups that we announced again earlier in the month of May.
Yeah, it's so impressive to see how you can consolidate footprints, turning 20 storage arrays from vendor ABC into a couple of racks, freeing up space, freeing up availability for other services. Is this going to continue, this sort of trajectory of size, space, savings over time?
So we look at it, when you do that consolidation, I love to say watts, slots, power, and floor. You've just saved on watts, slots, power, and floor. So you've saved a ton, okay? You save on the OpEx. You save on the CapEx. So for example, we have a customer, a Fortune 200 in the United States. They recently swapped out 100 arrays from a competitor. They now run 48, so roughly they cut it in half. But in addition to getting the performance they needed, which the other vendor wasn't, which is why they were looking at us in the first place, was to deliver the right performance. But they also saved $61 million in the first year and a half of using us. $61 million. We have another customer in Europe. They're in the telco space, one of the biggest in the world. They've got over 100 petabytes of Infinidat storage. And they've told us, and actually there's a public video with them on our website. They told us that they have saved in a 5-year timeframe between CapEx and OpEx over $100 million. So again, strong technical value. What we're doing today with InfuseOS Cloud Edition, full version of our operating system sitting in the cloud, seamless integration between on-prem and off-prem with the InfuseOS operating system and its Cloud Edition, which will sit in Amazon. We've done the same thing with cyber resilience, right? Our InfiniSafe cyber detection allows you to look at a snapshot, whether it's in line, or if you do have an attack, you need to get a known good copy to recover, right? So you can scan it in our fenced forensic environment. Okay, powerful technical values, but we do all that while also saving our customers lots of money in both CapEx and OpEx. Remember, when the economy is down, the CFO is not going to let you buy anything if it takes over a year to get a payback. It's just the way it works, right? When the economy is good, Mr. CFO, payback in 2.5 years. The CFO says, no problem, buddy, right? Whatever you want to do. Now, the CIO, she goes to the CFO and says, yeah, payback in 15 months. CFO turns to the CIO and says, no way am I letting you do that. She turns around and says, okay, I'll look at another vendor. She comes back a month later and says, well, the Infinidat solutions will give us a payback in 11 months. That's when the CFO in a down economy says, yeah, okay, you can buy that. And that's a big deal in today's economy. Of course, the second biggest topic, as you know, is cyber. You do a lot of stuff with cyber that's out of sight. I know earlier this month, or actually the end of April, and I think about it, you were at the RSA conference doing all this security stuff that was not necessarily related to storage. But the other thing that's top of mind of CIOs, CEOs too, not just the CIOs right now, is bad economy. We just talked about that. And also cyber attacks. The average enterprise, and these are statistics from, well, you've got a whole security business on your side from some security analysts. Average enterprise, 1,168 attacks every week.
Oh, it's amazing.
The cost of cyber attacks in 2023, this year, $8 trillion, right? So having our new InfiniSafe cyber detection capability to help you scan those immutable snaps that we create. And then once you've got a known good copy, rapid recovery. In fact, the very beginning of April, Evan, we did a cyber storage webinar. And you know me, since I do like adrenaline, it wasn't pre-recorded. It was live.
I saw it. That was phenomenal.
2 recoveries on our InfiniGuard, purpose-built backup appliance that works with all the major backup vendors. What do? 20 petabytes of Veeam backup data, 20 petabytes, not terabytes, not gigabytes, petabytes in 11 minutes and 58-second recovery. No one can be anywhere close to that. Usually recovery is half a day to a day is what all vendors talk about. We guarantee under 20 minutes, and that was 11 minutes and 58 seconds. Then at the very end, the CTO interrupts me and he says, well, how about on the InfiniBox, right? Primary storage, you've done secondary, let's do primary. So he recovered 50,000 1040p video files. So wow. Hundreds and hundreds of terabytes in 4 seconds. 1, wow. 2, 3, 4. So again, there's technology involved to that allow the rapid recovery. But think of it, if I'm the CISO or the CIO or even the CEO, that's about business value. If I have an attack, which is not good, the faster I'm up, I'm up. As you know, there's a storage company in the hard drive space known Western Digital, and they were down for weeks with a cyber attack. Weeks.
Oh, so sad. So sad. Yeah, and these are almost extinction level events for some companies and mission critical. I mean, things like hospitals, it's diabolical what's happening on the ransomware front. So, so important. Let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about sustainability and the shift to designing greener, more energy efficient data centers. You're a big part of that push. I've seen with many clients.
Absolutely. So a couple ways to do it. First of all, consolidation. As I said earlier in the interview, watts, slots, power, floor space. Okay. As you consolidate and you take those 24 arrays from a competitor and you go down to 4 InfiniBoxes, yes, you saved on CapEx and OpEx, but you also have a greener environment. You are powering and cooling less storage, saving you money. In fact, I like to say that in the environment and the economy can be married together with what we do, because when you're saving on the power and cooling and you're consolidating and reducing that, you are not only being more economical, but you're being more environmentally friendly. Now, of course, at the end, so let's say that customer who went from 24 to 4, so now it's 6 years from now, and we have the next generation InfiniBox. So they want to get the next generation InfiniBox. Think about it, as you know, well, because you are an analyst, not just for storage, but for all kinds of infrastructure. Everything is filled with toxins in the high-tech space. It's all filled with it. If it's physical, if it's networking, if it's storage, if it's servers, if it's routers, doesn't matter what it is, right? It's filled with toxins. So you have to, of course, recycle that. And of course, this is not like recycling your paper bags that you do at home. This is way more expensive and way more sophisticated. So when we first went into that account, they had to recycle 24 arrays. They moved to InfiniBox. 5 years from now, they want the new, faster, more feature sets InfiniBox. And by the way, as you know, in the enterprise, 5 to 6 years is a normal refresh cycle. So it's normal refresh. Say, we love it. We're one of the guys that did a Gartner Peer Insights and talking about how great your user interface is and how easy you are to use and how we haven't touched the box in years and how you met all our performance parameters. Thank you very much. So we tell them that. But this time when they recycle, they're only recycling 4 arrays. So the last time they recycled, 24. Okay. Ecological issue, but also an economic one because they have to pay to recycle all of them. Now they're buying new Infiniboxes. They have the old 4 Infiniboxes there. Recycling 4 Infiniboxes is way less expensive and more environmentally friendly than doing the 24. Those consolidation helps you do that. We've also created some larger solutions, both for purpose-built backup appliance in October of last year, and also for our Infinibox. And when you work out the power and cooling budgets per petabyte, you save up to 42% per petabyte when you buy these larger configurations. So not only are we already saving with consolidation, but now with our own larger config, if you want to argue the bigger brother saves you just when you're comparing ourselves to ourselves, let alone the fact that we can consolidate. So it's very, very important when you think about it that you don't forego the economy. I mean, it's top of mind right now. CEOs, CIOs, doesn't matter where you are in the C-suites, right? And that flows down into all the budget holders in large enterprises. At the same time, you can't forget the environment. Well, again, we can be economically friendly and environmentally friendly with our consolidation, our capability, again, of doing larger capacities in a single rack. All that leads to saving money, but also helping the environment. And that's obviously doubly important in this era.
I love that, and so important. I'm really intrigued by your high availability sort of architecture. How do you achieve that? I mean, seamless operation, well, even through hardware failures, software failures, you put it into the contract. What's the special sauce there that that
Right.
allows that kind of availability?
So it's a combination, Evan. Combination of our software, our InfuseOS. We have a technology underneath that, what we call Infiniraid, part of the InfuseOS. You get that all for free. Again, it's pure software. The other thing that's unique is we have a tri-controller design, 3 controllers. You look at other companies, and you and I met way back when I was at EMC. You and I have done interviews when I was at the CMO of IBM as well. And all of those other players in the block side in particular have a dual controller architecture. It gives you failover, failback. It gives you all kinds of things that you can do. With us, it's a 3-node architecture. So we can handle a dual failure and still be running. Yes, your performance is degraded, but it allows you to continue to run the storage environment. In other configurations, because they're all dual configured, again, scale out files a little bit different. So that's a little bit more robust. But now I'm talking on the block side, which is our primary market and is, of course, still the biggest market for storage in the world, particularly in the high-end enterprise. We can handle more failures. We also have, because of the performance, an incredible rebuild. And in fact, we had a company that is a service provider. So one of the things we do, we're not a cloud provider. Okay, that's not what we do. We now have InfuseOS Cloud Edition, but we don't run around and say, I'm a cloud provider competing with Amazon or Microsoft or Google. That's not what we do. However, 31% of our customers actually are. So we publicly announced at the end of Q4 of last year, not our revenue number, but that 31% of the actual customer count are either telcos, CSPs, MSPs, or MHPs.
Wow.
And part of the reason they do that is our resiliency. Remember, they're making their money off our system. So anyway, one of those service providers, we had to do a replacement, okay, of a component. In this case, it happened to be a cable. So, and we are try everything. And we use a third party. And unfortunately, it was a not well-trained third party. They went out and they actually took down, out of a giant array, 120 of the storage media.
Boy.
120. And guess what? The array kept running with 100 units down. Now, by the way, the fix was simple. Hook the cable back up because he had accidentally unhooked the active cable. So they were only down for a couple minutes. But the point is, how many storage arrays can you take down 120 pieces of storage media, flash or hard drive, and still keep running? And they were. Now, it was fixed quickly. And in a minute or two, they realized what was going on. He put the cable back in. There was another cable that was bad, but what he'd done is unplug the good cable instead of the bad cable. So it took everything down. But 120 devices went down in a service provider environment, and they still were able to provide their storage and backup as a service, leveraging our technology. So that's the resilience and performance we can provide. Now, that was an anomaly, right? How many times is that going to happen? But
it's always an anomaly. Yes, it's always the edge case that you have to look out for.
Yeah. Pulling out the good cable, he took down 120 pieces of storage media, and the array still ran. Now, that's incredible. So, though, that's an extreme example, but we offer 100% availability guarantee. We've never had to pay it out, by the way. Thank goodness. We've had it since 2019. And it's, again, a function of our 3-controller architectural design. It's a function of our software, and it's also a function of what we talked about earlier, our white glove service. Again, we have public references, both ours and what was in this Gartner Peer Insights, where, again, we got the 2023 Customer's Choice Award, where they say we had something go down, bad power supply, bad fan, bad something. And Infinidat let us know before we even knew. So we proactively called them. We sent them a note. We picked up. Obviously, you pick up the phone. You don't just send an email these days. So they got a text, they got an email, and they got a phone call. So
that is phenomenal. Unheard of.
Now, remember, there's 3 power supplies for everything. Everything's in tries. So they're only down 1. So we need to come on site to replace it. Or if you've already got one and your storage admin knows how to do, everything's hot pluggable, right? That's the storage world's been that way for 25 years. So ours are, of course, hot pluggable too. But something as simple as a power supply down, we let them know. And we have all kinds of alerting and systems with our AI ops technology, our InfiniOps, which, by the way, does work with what I'll call data center packages like ServiceNow, vCenter Ops, Vertana. We work with all those big packages, but we also have our own. So between that, our technical support teams, our TA teams, but our box, because it's autonomously automated, automatically is constantly checking itself and literally can tell us what's going on ahead of time so we can tell the customer. And obviously, we can also alert the customer too. You set it up how you want it. We could get an alert and the customer could get an alert. But in some cases, they didn't set up that way. We knew before they did that they had a problem. We knew before they did. We told them how to fix. The system stayed up because of our really triple architecture across all physical hardware components are triple redundant, which again is unusual in the storage space. And that's how we can keep that availability going and how we can have our 100% availability guarantee.
Well, setting the pace, setting the standard, it's competition's going to have to keep up. The results speak for themselves. I mean, I saw this publicly last week. Your business, 60% growth in this environment is no easy task, to say the least. So is it just onwards and upwards from here?
Well, we've had some very good years. At the beginning of 2022, we talked about our success in 2021. So we've been continuing to do that. For us, again, it's all about what the customers think. And as the customers talk to each other, keep publishing these reviews and doing that, and we keep doing the right thing by the customers. And again, the analyst community, such as you and other analysts, keep talking about these guys really take care of their customers. And of course, we also continue to develop leading edge technology. InfuseOS Cloud Edition, we didn't have that, right? InfiniSafe cyber detection. And quite honestly, 18 months ago, we didn't even have InfiniSafe. So constantly developing it from Neurocache, the initial foundation of the software stack, what we do with our autonomous automation, continue to do it, integrating with all these third parties, right? Everything we do, working with the backup vendors with our InfiniGuard solution, but what we do with AI ops vendors, with our InfiniOps and how it integrates with an API to all these other packages.
Well, there's not much more to say about that. You really nailed the technology, the business model, and the customer focus. Today is such a big day, lots of news announcements, updates. But what's next? Anything exciting coming up over the next weeks, month or two that we should look out for?
Well, while we did the press release today, we're actually going to do a live webinar because, again, you know how crazy I am because we've known each other for a long time. There'll be a live webinar where we will be talking and demoing things on InfuseOS Cloud Edition and InfiniSafe Cyber Detect, and that will be on June 14th. So
Fantastic.
information is
Well,
available at infinidat.com. So again, people can not just read about it, not just get a data sheet. That's all nice stuff, but actually see real demos and really understand what it does to deliver value to the actual end user.
well, so wonderful for the update. Thanks for all the excitement and adrenaline. I'm feeling it. And look forward to more news and updates. As always, it's so fun to chat. And sporting the purple Hawaiian shirt, you're all in, I must say. I kind of want to get my hands on one of those, but I'll take that offline.
Well, thank you, Evan. It's always great to talk to you. We really appreciate what you do. And of course, we take your other insights, right? When we see some of the write-ups you do on cybersecurity, it's like, okay, well, that's what the security guys do because we're not a security company, right? Well, wait, if we do this, that, or the other thing, and Evan wrote about it, let's call that company, so especially the things you're doing around security actually help us when we read your articles about what do we need to do to integrate, because we're not the security company. We're creating cyber storage resilience, and it's critical to a cybersecurity strategy overall. But a lot of that stuff we get from you and some of the other analysts about security, because that's your shtick and you know all about it. And that helps us.
Well, it's a virtuous circle and it takes a village. But thanks so much for watching, folks. Thank you, Eric, for sharing the mission and vision. And yeah, have a great week. Thanks, everyone.
Mahalo.